Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just waiting on Kelly Frankie, and we're going to be continuing our discussion this week of obsessions related to recovery. And there she is. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
You know, it's weird. I'm getting feedback,
Oh, no.
and it's really, okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Still?
Good now.
Good now. How's my audio? I'm up on this thing like a
Are you up
mofo.
on it?
I'm all up on it.
Kevin taught me that. You have to get right up on that sucker aggressively.
Aggressive. It is aggressive. Boom.
Anyways, I can't tell till after, but I'm sure it's fine.
Okay. Well, we're going to find out. Sorry, I'm in an adjusting place today, man. In a new
Well,
room. It's happening.
adjust away.
Adjusted. We'll see. Maybe it's the wrong spot.
We'll never know.
We'll just never know. So, obsessing on recovery, part 2.
Yes, part 2. Should we just dive right into questions or?
What do we think? Yeah. For those of you who weren't with us last week, we talked about obsessing about recovery, including obsessing on obsessing about compulsions, obsessing about whether or not you actually have OCD, etc. And so, and we covered the two-tailed spike, which I meant to look up, but then forgot to. So,
Is it two-tail spike or two-tail spin?
spike, I think.
Oh, okay. Damn.
But you know what? Spike, spin, potato, potato. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And also, this is not a replacement for therapy. This
It
is
really
for
is not.
education purposes only.
Only solamente. So
Solamente.
solamente. So yeah, we had a lot of questions last time and we didn't want to not discuss. So that's why we're doing a part 2. And so if you have any questions, throw them in ye old question mark box, or yeah, you know what I mean. To the right of the comment box, there's a question mark. Click on that bad boy, submit your questions.
It's shaped like this. Right there, right in the kisser.
Right in the kisser. Sorry, I'm like throwing things over here. I'm on one today, man.
Wait,
We're in for a wild ride.
your audio changed. Did you unplug yourself?
No, maybe. Hold. Are we back?
Yeah, I think so. Or it's either that or the room's really empty, so I can't tell.
No, but I dropped the thing.
Turn it off and on, maybe.
Yeah, hold on. Off. Okay.
You know, it might be that the battery died.
No, it can't, because I hope you're enjoying this lesson, but the colors are on. So it has to be going. Okay. But now, can you hear me now?
I don't know.
Wait.
That's hard to tell. I think it might be your earphones that I'm hearing. It's like the moment you dropped it, it went to. Anyways.
Here, can I try one other thing? I'm sorry, guys. Let me just unplug, replug. How about now?
No.
Should I start over or should we just go?
Let's just go. Because I think, it's okay. We'll talk later. The sound isn't really necessarily important at this moment anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Okay. Questions in the question mark box, as Kelly demonstrated. And go. In the kisser.
Okay. Right in the kisser.
Right in the kisser.
So, forgive me. I don't know if we covered this one, but I don't think we did.
That's okay.
The question was, am I recovered now? I'm trying to figure out when I have arrived, which, by the way, I love that. When I have arrived. So, yeah.
I have bad news.
Give it to me, girl.
If there is an arrival place, I have not arrived there yet.
shit, neither have
I
I.
know. I
Or
know.
maybe that's good because then I get a little validation that like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
it's not always truly just.
Yeah. No, I don't think that there's a finishing point because you've got a brain and it's going to keep going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Infinitely
Mm-hmm.
until it's not anymore. So, which, yeah.
I have a question totally not off topic, but around OCD stuff.
Okay.
When you find yourself just mentally totally fatigued
Mm,
and physically, like you just a long day,
yeah.
do you find that it's easier to resist compulsive behavior that you can be like, you know what, I just, no, can't, I'm so tired. I'm so tired that your brain just says, no.
No, not doing it. Yeah, I've certainly had that experience. I think I've seen people have that experience. I think, yeah, that's at a certain point, it's just like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Um,
Right, right.
Not even going there, brain. Thanks, brain. But
Yeah, for sure.
but then again, also being really tired can be a point of being triggered, right? So
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
If you haven't slept well and
yeah,
no, not a good
forget it.
place.
No, it's not a good place. I agree.
Okay. And for all of you who are new to Purely OCD, just so you know, we've gotten a lot of requests I've noticed during our feed about particular content. Like right now, I saw ROCD. A
Mm,
bunch of people submitted about sexual orientation OCD. And if you go to Lauren and I's IGTV, you can actually see that we've covered all of those topics. So
mhm.
enjoy.
Enjoy, and that doesn't mean we won't cover them again in the
No,
future, but yeah,
absolutely.
but we try to keep them so that people can come back and listen to them and hear the answers to the questions that you have, because chances are if you have that question somebody else does. um, we also have a YouTube channel where you can check us out,
I
Purely
forgot to
OCD.
post.
If that's okay. I think it's
Okay.
going to be okay. I think. No promises.
No, what?
I
No
said no
problem.
promises.
No promises. It's true. Okay. Um,
So do we answer that question thoroughly enough?
I think so. How do you know when you've arrived?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And I'm going to throw out, I also don't know that it's important. Even if there was an arrival spot, and certainly there's a level of suffering that's less than, you don't really need to know that you're there.
Right. And if you feel yourself kind of trying to figure out whether or not you have arrived, yeah, chances are it's not.
Danger.
Yeah. Warning. Cuidado.
Oh my gosh, we're really trying with the Spanish
I
today.
know.
I appreciate us for that,
Yeah,
even
yeah,
though
yeah.
we're, yeah,
Even though we're probably just murdering
yeah.
that beautiful romantic language.
I never took it in school. I took French. So,
Um, you're doing great though. Okay.
mm-hmm.
So that and everyone's recovery looks different. So if this person who's asking finds themselves looking up, what other people's recovery looks like,
Mm,
well, like again, I think everyone looks very, very different.
yes. Yeah.
Cool. The other question is, could could telling myself there is nothing I can do about it during my ERP reassurance? That was just a kind of may not be related, but I thought it was kind of a interesting.
Yeah, you wanna take the lead on that one?
Um, it's tricky because the person's not in front of me, and obviously they're not our client, so we would typically ask a lot of follow up regarding
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Um, but if you are doing it to in any way neutralize or get rid of your anxiety, then yes, it
Mm,
is,
yeah.
right?
I'm trying
Um,
to think about how this could be done in that way. Do you know
well,
what I mean? Like, there's nothing I can do about it being like, oh, well, I can let go. It's fine. I don't have to do anything more because there's nothing more I can do. And oh, well, that
Right.
kind of thing.
Sure. I think mostly not, but I'm thinking about it in terms of OCD is an a-hole and it will
Totally.
find literally just about anything that we
Yeah.
haven't even thought of. I
Yeah.
guarantee you, where one day a person will walk in my office and I'll be like, yep, of course it did that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally, I think that is, like Lauren said, it is a good approach to be like, well,
Yeah. I guess maybe. Yeah. Like I can't, or yeah, I won't do anything more about it. I,
mhm.
you're right. Absolutely. Anything can become compulsive. So, but
If you're doing it to try to avoid an active exposure,
right.
well,
If you're, because you don't want to, I don't know, like if somebody was like, I don't want to tolerate the fact that I might be making a choice to drop compulsivity, right? Like
yeah,
that I feel better knowing that there's no, like, I just have to do this. And then you realize, oh, wait a second, but I'm making a choice. And then it's like, nope, there's nothing I can do, right? Like, that could be
yeah,
compulsive.
definitely. That's a, if we sat here and brainstormed, we'd probably come up with a few others too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think this comes up a lot for people with the maybe, maybe not, may or may not, because sometimes people err on the side of
May
like may
not.
not. Like,
Totally
oh, good.
true. That's
Phew.
why I generally don't say may or may not. I just
Right.
say maybe. Like,
Maybe.
because
Shoulder
that's
shrug.
the part that we have to get better at tolerating anyway. You're good at tolerating that it may not happen. You don't want it to not happen, or I guess the reverse, depending on what your fear is. But
True.
um, yeah, I don't think that people need practice tolerating the the potentially positive outcome.
Right, right, right. Okay. So moving on. Hopefully we covered that one. Um, this one's interesting. I don't, maybe we did talk about it. I'm not really clear on it. And it's not necessarily obsessing on obsessing, but I want to make sure that I'm, because I took screenshots. Is it common to feel like you need your OCD?
Oh yeah, I don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm. I don't
Like you
either.
need compulsions because otherwise you'll get screwed,
Right? Or
probably.
without OCD, you don't know who you are. It's an identity issue. Um,
Yeah, that could happen
anyways,
for
if
sure.
that person is here, please clarify.
Please.
Um, let's see. Okay, here's a good one. That's
Okay.
obsessing on obsessing for sure. I'm obsessing over checking if my tinnitus has gone away. And then they even put has started 10 days ago, which I love because the clarification I feel so hard on. Um, right. Uh, so yeah, I think it's a good talking point in terms of like the benign obsessions can be a lot like obsessing on obsessing in a certain way, right?
Mm-hmm. Say more about what you mean by that.
I guess just more of the, oh, my brain's frozen. I'm like the spinning wheel
Oh, I
in the
hate it when that
MacBook.
happens,
Hold on.
man. It happens to me more and more frequently. It's bad.
Well, it's because I just thought of a different thought. What were we talking about? I swear to
Uh,
God.
Tinnitus. No, I
Oh,
believe me. Could have
that's where
just
we're
as
at.
easily been me.
I didn't
Uh,
even, I like lost what we were talking about.
it's okay. I think
Oh,
it's
benign
normalizing. I
obsessions.
really hope that for everyone who's listening, because it happens to both of us all the time, it's okay if your brain just loses it,
Freezes.
loses the thread totally. It's like, huh, where were we? That's weird. Yeah, so benign obsessions happens like 5 times a day now. It's real. This is aging, people. Um, in the act. Also, it's drier than all get out in Southern California right now because of Santa Ana's. So that's why I'm guzzling water. I just needed everybody to know that.
Yeah,
Please
of
continue telling
course.
me about how benign obsessions are similar to obsessing on obsessing.
Mm, well, because you can't get rid of them, right? It's like, or just like your thoughts, you can't get rid of intrusive thoughts. They're not going anywhere,
Yeah.
right? And I think if we're talking about obsessing, if we're conceptualizing obsessing on obsessing as this worry thought that what if these thoughts never go away, and really hyper aware and paying way too much attention to every intrusive thought that is occurring, then I guess that's where I see the parallel is that
Absolutely. Yeah.
something like tinnitus, like you're looking for it. It's like the reality is, well, if you do have tinnitus, you have it. It's not going anywhere. There's no cure for tinnitus. So you have to fully accept it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're spot on in that completely. That if you're just taking like, I don't know why this one's my favorite, but the ability to see your nose and your periphery, right? That
Hmm.
the
Now
sort
I
of
see it
sensory motor.
instantly.
Yeah, I know. It's my favorite. Hello, there you are.
Hello.
I was worried. My nose had gone. It's not. It's there. So the ability to see that constantly in your periphery and worrying that you're not going to be able to stop thinking about it. It is obsessing about obsessing. It's the same as, so like neutral, sensory motor, that kind of stuff.
Right.
I'm with you.
Okay. It's a lot of acceptance.
So much acceptance.
It's one of those, this and obsessing on obsessing. It's just one of those variations where it's just going to be a lot of mindfulness.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
Willingness to have the thoughts. Absolutely.
Yep.
Nailed it,
Um,
friend.
okay, you too.
This one. Bam.
Boom. Boop. Okay. Mm,
By the way, we're amassing questions in the question mark box too, if we need any.
okay, this person says, I think I think we're going out of the obsessing on obsessing, but I think maybe it's worth going through these. I'm sure they can all fit somewhere. Should
Okay,
we do a few of them?
sure.
Okay. So this person says, obsessing that your thoughts aren't ego dystonic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's just another variant on what if I don't even have OCD, right?
Yeah, the doubt and denial.
Yeah,
Like, what if this isn't? Maybe I do really
yeah.
enjoy these thoughts.
How do I know that they're upsetting to me?
I don't even know my own values.
Right. Well, and then there's the thing that it's not always ego dystonic, really. That's such a, we talk about this so often in the world of
Mm-hmm.
OCD, but the reality is that sometimes you may actually be really pissed at your child when you're yelling at them. So, yeah, maybe the flash of murdering them is not in line with your values, not something that you want to actually do. But that doesn't mean that the frustration and the anger is, do you know what I mean? So it's not like,
Yeah, the feelings match the facts and the thoughts. It's like
right.
everything aligned perfectly.
Exactly. So this idea, like hanging your hat on ego dystonic, I don't know. I don't think that it's the most helpful way to clarify always.
Right. Or like I'm thinking about like ROCD in
Right.
particular, because I feel like that one comes up a lot with ego dystonic.
Right.
Um,
Absolutely. I
so
mean, when it's
yeah, go ahead.
worry about whether or not, well,
Maybe they're being a butthead
maybe they are being a butthead. Yeah.
because
Maybe
people
you
do
don't
that.
like something about your partner. That's such a good, yes, thank you.
And people let you down, it's just a matter of time and they're going to annoy you because that's what we do. We're
Yeah.
humans. Although I'm sure I ask Lauren regularly, am I annoying?
That's weird because I've never asked that of you.
So, anywho,
Anywho,
unrelated or related. Um, what was I saying? Mother of God, I did it
it's
again.
it's okay. It's the week of this. It's the week of forgetting what you were saying.
Well, you get the point, is that sometimes people are going to bother you. That doesn't mean you need to leave them. And it's certainly not ego dystonic.
No, but it isn't ego dystonic, right? It's like you are annoyed. It's just the amount of attention that you're giving to the annoyance and how like the the interpretation of the annoyance, the well, what if that means what if the annoyance itself means that I shouldn't be in this relationship? But I don't think of that as I don't know. I have a hard time there. Like the ego dystonic piece, it just doesn't really fit. It's like you're yeah, okay, when you look at it from a values perspective, the interpretation where we get to the what if, it's I guess kind of ego dystonic, right? Like if you're saying what if this is the wrong relationship because I'm annoyed at my partner and values wise, it is kind of not in keeping with your values. So I guess is technically ego dystonic, but yeah.
But
Anyway.
for, I don't know if, I wouldn't say that people who are necessarily with doing their own kind of exposures without an OCD specialist would be able to kind of differentiate. So
Totally. So the moral of the story is
the,
you do not have to get too caught up in the ego dystonic of it all because that
yep.
can that can be a sticky point of like, oh my gosh, but do I dislike this enough? It's like, and we don't know.
And what did that one person just say earlier?
Hmm.
There's nothing I can do about it, or um, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
I guess not. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe. Okay. Um, so this person says being unable to answer all of OCD's questions, how it seems like proof your obsessions are true. Being unable to answer all of OCD's questions.
So uncertainty is proof that OCD is true. Am I getting that right?
So here's the thing though, when you take screenshots, it doesn't
Give the yeah,
then
yeah.
so I can't tell if it's like a continuation of a previous person's question.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, one more time.
okay, so being unable to answer all of OCD's questions, how it seems like proof your obsessions are true. So if you don't answer the questions, then
You
you
don't
feel
have
like
an
it's true.
answer. Yeah. Right.
Right, or figure it out.
Right.
When
Yeah.
that's really just exposures. That's what we're
Yes. I think so.
so it will feel true.
Well, I think that the general fear is that that OCD is going to keep saying is it's you're wrong
You're
and I'm
lying to
right.
yourself.
Yes, totally. So I think when this person is saying that you you don't really like what if I don't really have OCD because I don't have all of the answers to OCD's questions, that's just OCD. I mean that's I'm not trying to give reassurance
No,
to this
no.
person nor direct advice because I can't, but like
I know, but it's just
that
such a
describes OCD, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
There is no answer to really anything, so
Yeah.
there's no
Is it?
certainty.
No certainty.
Good job. Okay.
Thanks.
And for all of you out there, good job for holding on while we're
Yeah.
like tumbling through this live. Anyways,
We're off the rails, Toodle.
it's fine.
It's totally fine.
Toodle belongs off the rails. And for
Totally.
those of you who don't know Toodle, it's a great kids book. You should probably read it. It's
If
very upsetting. So
if you go back to the first episode that we did, I think we talked about Toodle, which
we
is
talk
why we
about
always
Toodle
reference
frolicking in
Toodle.
the tulips in the field.
Yes.
And then they're like, no,
back on
Don't
the rails, Toodle. No,
don't do that.
don't get back on the rails. You
Yeah,
stay on the off the rails. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, um I don't know what's wrong with me. Today is a
Oh
really rough
man.
one.
It's no, I'm with you. I'm
So
with
we
you.
also don't have like our regular structure. It's throwing me the F off, man. Like I'm like, oh, change? What are you talking about?
Change? No, let's not do that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
weirdo.
My
Okay.
brain's barely working these days, so it works out.
Okay. Here's one.
Hmm.
Obsessing about your own beliefs, morality, feelings in response to intrusive thoughts. I think that goes into the doubt denial. That actually could be part of the one we just answered, to be
It
honest.
kind of feels that way. Not
Yeah.
the one that we just answered, but like the one before
A
it.
few,
Yeah.
yeah, back.
Yeah. I agree. It's
Um,
yeah. The
Go ahead.
idea that it's not ego dystonic, the idea that you like it, that you're into it, that yeah, right?
Yes. And then this is the final one, and then we can probably answer some questions for you guys. How to stop obsessing about why I don't. Oh, well, this is the same thing, right? How to stop obsessing about why I don't feel bad or sad in response to my obsessions. It's the same.
Yeah. And you can't stop obsessing. Bad news. You can stop compulsing, but you can't stop obsessing.
Yeah.
So
So
just
that's a wrap on those.
bring it on in, you know. I'm going to have all of the obsessions.
Yep. Ow.
Oh
Okay.
dear.
Do we have any questions
We
submitted?
have so many questions.
Oh man. Okay.
Let's see.
Hopefully we have good answers.
I hope so. I can't see any of them again. What in the world? So it's like tap a response to show it on screen, but it doesn't show me what it is. So it's going to be sort of a free for all. Please keep in mind we're trying to keep it on topic, so we may not answer your question if it's not on topic. Now I'm going to play Russian roulette with this.
I love it.
Oh, that's again off topic. But, well,
Yeah,
kind of.
kind of not, right? Is
Yeah.
HOCD so we're trying to switch over the naming. Is sexual orientation OCD
Sure.
real or is it denial? Boy, I'll tell you what, this content in particular has a really strong denial piece sometimes.
Well, you
Well,
know
they
why
all
it
do,
is,
but
but no, because the word denial comes up so frequently when it comes to
that's
sexual
it.
orientation,
Right, you're
like they were living
suppressing.
in denial, that I think that word really hooks in
It
with
does.
this particular subtype. And the reality is that people want to know this, of course. They're like, is it HOCD or SOCD,
Well,
SOOCD? Or is it denial? And the answer is we don't know. We can't know. If you're trying to figure out with certainty that it's denial, you're stuck.
right. And if you see an OCD therapist and in the first session they tell you, we're not going to try to figure this out, please don't run out of the room.
Yes,
They're just being a good therapist,
they
okay?
are. Good point. Excellent point.
Okay. So I think
Oh,
that's, in terms of
good
that
point.
one, that person can check out our already for
Yes,
further.
on sexual orientation OCD. Okay. Uh, is it possible to recover alone? I don't have support of family or friends. I mean, this isn't necessarily.
Yeah. Well, if they're obsessing about like, am I
Is
going to get
Yeah,
better?
that's fair.
Although
I
I feel
love
like
that
if
I'm
we,
just like dismissing all of them, and you're like, no, that could fit. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right.
well, but here's the thing. I feel like if I answer it, I'm giving a little bit of reassurance if that's in fact their obsession. But
Right.
for sake of argument, I think
Can
it's a quick answer.
well, can we say it in a way that's not necessarily totally reassuring? Can we just
Sure. Let's do
maybe
it.
note that there's no circumstances I don't think in which recovery is not possible?
I think you flipping nailed it.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah,
You nailed it.
absolutely.
Nailing life. Do, 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 do. Oh no, wait, hold on. I accidentally was going to add somebody else to the live. I clicked on that thing.
Hello.
Sean
I'd be
Chinook's
like, what
here. We
is
should.
going
I'm pretty sure I just mispronounced Sean's name. Sean Chinook. Chinook.
I feel like such a bad friend because
I thought I saw him. Never mind. I could be
was he
wrong.
here?
Yeah, I don't know.
I
Maybe.
think he said he was gonna try to stop by, but
Well, if you're there, Sean, hello. Is it possible to recover alone? Wait, that's the same one. New question.
yeah.
Is it common to have thoughts that everything you do is a compulsion? Ooh, yeah. So that's certainly where it kind of pops into the obsessing about compulsing. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, what if this is a compulsion? But what if this is a compulsion? Maybe this is a compulsion. And then freaking out because you don't want to do compulsions because you want to get better.
Great question,
Yeah.
Gemini.
Gemini fire. Yep.
My daughter's a Gemini. Just
Is
saying.
she?
Yes, she sure is.
Little G, the Gemini.
Little G.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is really the crux of it right here.
Yeah. Any other things to add?
Mm,
No.
not really. I think we got it.
Is it a good idea to deal with intrusive thoughts by acknowledging but not accepting it?
I don't know what deal, like, what does deal mean? To deal with intrusive thoughts by acknowledging. So just saying, like, okay, you're there, right? That's mindfulness. But
Yeah, but not
isn't
accept.
isn't that
Well, but that
acceptance?
is acceptance. I think what we're
Yeah,
talking about potentially is acceptance of presence versus acceptance of content.
sure.
But yeah, so that would be my guess. Which you don't have to accept that the content is absolutely real. You have to accept uncertainty about it in order to get to a healthier place with it.
Yes.
But just noticing that you're having the thoughts and accepting that the thoughts are there is different from accepting that the thoughts are true reflections of reality.
Yep. Well said.
Thank you.
Somebody asked, the Gemini asked a question back. Let's see. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah. So, and we actually talked about this a little bit last time, which we're happy to chat a little bit about it again. But if you want to watch our last live on this, it might be helpful to you. But I've been talking a lot. You go.
Okay, so is the best way to deal just to deal with the uncertainty that it may be compulsion? So yeah, it's basically just pick one. Like if it's coming down to a choice of like, do I turn the fan on or turn it off? And let's just do it. Let's move quick, quick, quick,
Yep.
quick, and
Yep.
and then we live with the uncertainty of maybe this was a compulsion and maybe not.
Yep.
And if it's in terms of like you're just catching, you're almost, your brain is so loud that it's just noticing every potential intrusive thought and compulsion, then it's just kind of trying to pull back and loosen the white knuckle grip
Yeah.
to it and just let it pass by.
Yeah.
Meaning, let's do mindfulness exercises more.
Yeah. Yeah. And also accept that maybe I'm going to do a compulsion
Oh,
and
of course. Yeah,
over and over and
always.
over again.
Yeah, I forgot that one. Thank
Well,
you.
no, I think you nailed it. Okay. Got more. Is there any tips you could give us to accept the uncertainty?
Well,
That's pretty broad.
yeah, I think all of our treatment is that.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to say, exposures.
Yes. That's a really good point. I mean, that's the way to learn how to accept uncertainty is through exposure work.
Mm-hmm.
I think accepting uncertainty is just the same as not taking any action in the face of uncertainty. Right? Like so
Mindfulness.
yeah, just noticing it without doing anything. Yeah.
Right.
Allowing it to be there.
Not judging
So
it.
yeah. not judging it. Yeah, I don't know.
I just feel like mindfulness gets so, I don't know.
No,
I've just been
same.
noticing it a lot lately that it gets very much like it's so thrown around and so, I don't know. It's such a buzzword, right? And has
Hmm.
been for a while that when people hear it, they're just like, okay.
Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like at first it was like, oh, this is like a religious thing. And then they all freaked out. But then, over like a 5 year or so, 7 year span, maybe even 10, because it still happens. But that now it's just like, well, okay, yeah. I'm like, no, really though.
Yeah.
It's all about that.
It's so much about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like we can't do like really great, effective mental rumination type exposures without you understanding the concept that thoughts are coming into your brain, that you can catch them or note them.
Right. And that you can be the objective observer of without, yeah, taking the
Right,
bait and running with it.
right.
Yeah. Agreed. Well said, friend.
Yeah.
Thoughts on treatment refractory OCD? I am going to treatment at McLean in the fall, but peer support folks have told me that treatment. Oh, refractory doesn't exist and no OCD is worse than others.
What is treatment refractory? I'm sorry.
Like the idea, like that OCD doesn't respond to treatment, like that there is a level of OCD or some cases of OCD that are incapable of.
They're treatment resistant.
Yeah, exactly. Treatment refractory, treatment resistant, same deal. Um, I I don't. I think to say that someone is treatment refractory or treatment resistant is to say that you know the future.
Right.
And I think that that's unfortunate. Somebody might say to somebody you're treatment resistant or you're treatment refractory. And not that I don't necessarily know that that's the case here. I think the fear that you might not respond well to treatment is exactly what we've been talking about, right? Obsessing on obsessing. But yeah, I think, I don't know that I believe that not like some people struggle with more uh, believing their thoughts more rigidly than others, I would say. I don't think one subtype, like of the subtypes that we talk about, I don't think one is stickier than the other. It's a matter of,
It depends on the insight of the client, quite honestly. Doesn't really
yeah,
matter the content.
yeah. But I think actually the work is based more on willingness than on anything. And so if you're willing to take leaps, I believe that recovery is possible.
Yeah. I think it is willingness that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Um, and just really being willing to take some type of a step. And for some people, you and see in treatment is kind of like you hit a wall because that person might not be willing for whatever reason, right? Like we don't have any judgment over that.
Yeah.
That's I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
Um, it's like, okay, well, this is as far as I want to go, and that's okay. That's totally up to the person.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that there's lots of other factors involved, like dual diagnoses, and are we dealing with other, just are we dealing with other factors other than OCD? Um, but you're going
Oh no.
in, oh, what?
Kelly,
Oh,
I lost you.
you did?
Yeah. You were saying, um, oh
Oh,
no.
oh no, that's okay.
Where were
I'm
you
sure we're
just
good.
now?
I was just saying, I don't think, like, don't give up hope, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally agree. There's hope and willingness, I think is what you were talking about too, is that, yeah.
And people's time frame all looks different. Some people get
Sure.
better in 5 years, and some
Yeah.
people get better in 6 months
Yeah.
and everywhere in between and after and before.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all, when we talk about getting better, what we're talking about is not doing as many compulsions, and that's really a matter of practice. It's a matter of facing down the things that cause you fear without doing anything in response. And so anyone's capable of doing that. It's not like it takes a special skill set per se. It just takes repetition and willingness. So I think ultimately, when we're talking about obsessing, we have to accept that we don't know what's going to happen next. And that includes with regard to treatment. So yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Why do I keep clicking the go live with other people button? Okay.
It would be fun to do that.
We
Okay.
should do that.
Yeah.
I've reached out to other OCD and it takes toll sometimes. Do you also get overwhelmed sometimes?
Reached out, you mean like that you've had other variations of OCD? Or
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they mean by I've reached out. Maybe other people with OCD.
what was the question though? Because it cuts off for me.
I have reached out to other OCD and it takes toll sometimes. Do you also get overwhelmed sometimes? Well, I can tell you that I do get overwhelmed sometimes. Yes. Oh, other OCD patients. Yeah, absolutely. It can feel very overwhelming. Life can feel very overwhelming.
Yeah, I was gonna
um,
say it doesn't take much to get me overwhelmed
no, no, it's true.
lately.
I'm with
Um,
that. I'm with
but
that. Well, because there's a lot going on if you're,
yeah,
yeah, living a life. But yeah, can OCD feel overwhelming? Absolutely. Having a lot of intrusive thoughts, having to practice not doing anything in response to them, especially if you're not used to that. Yeah.
but they're saying I've reached out to other OCD patients and it takes a toll sometimes. So are we talking about like burnout or are we talking about
Oh, that's
OCD?
good follow-up question. Do you mean helping others
Like
taking a toll
advocating?
or getting overwhelmed by OCD itself? Good
Because
clarification point.
the answer is yes to all the above. And
I
that's why,
get overwhelmed by everything.
yeah, trained professionals, like ourselves, who we went to a lot of schooling and
Yeah,
we've done a lot of practicum hours and a lot of intern hours and tons of supervision so that you can learn how to not burn out and how to do self-care and have boundaries
yeah,
and know when you need to take care of yourself.
yeah, yeah.
Which, trick question, but kind of a good question, is what's harder, setting boundaries or doing exposures?
Yeah, it is a good trick question because they're the same thing.
Well,
They can be.
true, sure. I was
For
thinking more
somebody
of
who's
like,
codependent, I feel like the boundary setting is
ah,
exposure work. That's all I'm saying. But
for sure.
that was my thought on the trick question. What were you thinking?
Oh, I was just gonna say, in terms of like setting boundaries for the first time
Mm,
with people is very hard, I've noticed.
hmm.
And then doing exposure work is also very hard. I feel like those are the two hardest things.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And I think my only follow up to that is I think they're both hard because they are both facing a fear.
Yeah.
Exposure could be fear of anything, but when you set a boundary, there's oftentimes fear of rejection.
Mm-hmm.
Following
Totally.
that is not
Or
fun,
judgment,
right? Judgment.
social anxiety stuff.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. By the way, I have no idea what time it is.
We have a few minutes and then we're
Okay.
done.
I'm going to let you be the timekeeper.
We'll probably take one more. How about that?
Oh, yeah, that's not a question though. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry. OCD attacks. It's tough. Question mark. box. Okay. Okay. Well, we kind of addressed that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So OCD is a subtype of OCD. Oh, well, we can talk about in another, and we have talked about sexual intrusive thoughts in other episodes. If you'd like to check out the past ones. Sorry, I can't see any of these before I click on them.
Right.
And then okay. I mean, this is, we've already kind of covered. Um,
So all I see is I'm afraid that I like the thoughts, and then it feels like I want them for a short time.
and
And
then
then,
I'm convinced that I am that person, even if I don't want to think about them.
right. So like pedophilia OCD
Right. Or,
um,
yeah,
is my
really harm
first
OCD.
thought. Yeah, harm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, obviously we know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And that's, I
So
think, kind of what we talked about before, right? That with the ego sin versus dystonic.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if you check something long enough, guess what's going to happen? Okay.
It's you're going to think that it's happening
Yeah.
or that you like it, or, yeah, you're going to doubt it anyway.
Right. It's no different than someone who is stuck on checking the locks several times because they've looked so many times that they don't trust their own eyes.
Yeah.
And then they have to get someone else's opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Last question.
Yep. Last one.
I am feeling better after 4 months of therapy, but now I'm doubting that I have OCD at all. Tips for dealing with this. So we did talk a fair amount about this last time.
We did.
I have an article on this. I would advocate for reading that because I do. My hope is that it's helpful.
Yeah, it's OCD, or it's doubt, denial, and OCD on
Yes.
OCDLA.com's website.
The blog.
One of my faves.
Oh, thanks, friend.
It's really good.
Thank you. But yeah, I think ultimately we can't give you direct advice, but what we can say generally about this idea of doubting OCD is that for most people, it's part of the experience of having OCD.
Yep.
So you're still going to have uncertainty around it. And yeah, it's tough.
Right. And can we accept that uncertainty as you proceed through treatment that maybe it isn't?
Yeah. Yeah. It's an important part of walking through.
And lastly, refer to your therapist because I'm sure that they will be a great fountain of wisdom for you. I almost said fountain of youth.
By the way.
Oh, you like them?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though.
What?
If you saw them in real life, you'd be like, oh my gosh.
As the kids say, IRL.
What's that?
In real life.
Oh, is that they use that acronym?
I had to look it up.
Well, obviously I would have, but thank you. Yeah, Urban Dictionary for 30 and over.
Yeah, it's real. It's a thing.
Yeah, in real life, you would see that they are a mess. Actually, my client had this color. I've been looking for this color forever, and I got it, and I was like, I shouldn't do this. I'm a therapist. And then I was like, what? I'm definitely doing it. What is going on?
Wear the same nail polish as your client?
No, it was like because it's so bright.
Oh.
I know. Well,
yeah, no
maybe
bright
it's
colors.
Lost. It's remember what we said about red. The superstitious OCD.
Yeah,
if you guys haven't watched it, it's quite good.
So you guys, thank you for being here as always. And I don't know that we know what we're doing next, but we'll keep you posted. And sayonara.
I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.